You don't have to spend a lot of time in a classroom or a school to realize that some students have at least a little bit of trouble listening to remember. That's especially important when you consider that research suggests we learn up to 80% of what we know through listening. Now, I'm going to share very briefly something that I've seen some teachers have a lot of success with. We took some research that suggested to us that to listen to remember, there are 5 steps, which include attend, listen, process, store, and recall. But we tweaked it just a little bit. We did that for 2 reasons. One, we wanted to switch up the language, make it a little bit more kid-friendly, put it in kid speak, and we also wanted to focus it on our purpose. This project got started when a group of teachers realized they had some students who were doing an excellent job being able to listen to a story that was read aloud repeatedly and then retell what they had heard, retell the story even weeks and weeks later. And they had another group of students who were struggling even sometimes just to remember each of the characters in the setting or a few of the events, whether they were in order or not. And so as we went through the evidence we collected and did some analysis, we realized that that was actually an issue happening at the point of the story itself. And so this is what they came up with and what they used. So they made some slight changes, as I said. Process became see the story. We wanted students to know that while you listen to a story, whether it's an interactive read aloud, whether it's story time, sitting at a listening center, even listening to a video that you're still viewing, you need your brain going. And your brain needs to be creating those images. It needs to be visualizing. So we called this see the story when you listen. Next, we had record the story. Now, every student knows that you can record things with a phone or an iPad, or there's so many ways they have to record. So we thought this was a great tie into that. But they need to be made aware that you have to be taking all this that you're seeing in your head and everything you're hearing and storing in a way that makes sense so you can get it back. And then finally, we have play the story. That was our retell, which later became recounting and summarizing, depending on the age and grade of the student. But you may have noticed something a little strange. I didn't change the least used word in a kindergarten or first grade classroom, which is attend. And the reason for that is some teachers noticed that pay attention very quickly loses its meaning in the classroom. We hear it so much that its meaning starts to shift from actually attending to meaning I need the absence of talking, or I need you not to be playing right now. But we wanted students to know not what you shouldn't do, but what you should do. So this I'm showing you all at once. What teachers did is they would actually co-construct this over time with the students, but this is kind of a final version. So for attend and talking about what that meant, students in every class came up with, you need to look with your eyes, listen with your ears. And why are the hands there? Well, our brains follow what our hands do. So if we can keep those still or keep them, use them to draw or write some notes, we're going to be in good shape. Something really fun if you do this with 5, 6, 7-year-olds is they usually add a 4th. They add heart. I'm not going to do that this time, but I love when they do that. Next, we listen with our ears. We're pulling this information in through our ears. Yes, we may have some pictures to look at in the story. We may be at a listening center and we're flipping through the book, but we're listening with those ears. Then they would work together with the students to talk about what do we need to do while we had the story going, because some students don't even realize that you can visualize while you listen. Getting into recording, how can I remember this? Well, I know stories have characters. I know they have a setting. I know they have these different events. Maybe you have a graphic organizer up, or they have a graphic organizer for them. They can help with that. But then they're making sure they're recording this story as it happens in their brain. So finally, I can play it back. So anyway, I really hope that this might be a helpful model for you to teach students what it takes to listen to remember those 5 steps. I need to attend, I need to listen, I need to process, I need to store, and then I need to recall all of that information. Now, of course, in practice with the story, it's not that you necessarily need to listen to the entire story, record the entire story, and play it back. You can stop throughout and have partnerships talk, quickly about who's in this story, what's happening, what's this about, where is it taking place, so that they have those little pieces as they go and they can have mastery moments throughout. So anyway, play with this. You can see we've already changed it from what the research suggested, had a lot of success with it. Can't wait to hear what you do to take it another step further. And we'd love for you to reach out with us, let us know your suggestions, anything you have success with, and hopefully you'll have students moving up just a little bit in that listening to remember skill.